Because you know why? He's a Frankenstein's monster. Ugh, he's grotesque.
He's so grotesque.
This is part of the lore now, is that we have Frankenstein monsters fighting in the U.S. Army.
Boy, this is always a challenge.
It's always hunting season.
And then it's always hunting season.
Why he was so definite about quitting school?
Well, no. With little Orphan Annie in such a mess, I guess I just didn't get around to it. Well, it's hard to concentrate on two things at once, you know.
Oh, Herman, you make me so angry. Now, I want you to go upstairs right now and have a father and son talk with Eddie.
All right, dear. All right. But wouldn't it be better if Eddie came down here so I could sort of lean on the mantel while we talk man to man?
Why in the world would you want to do that?
Well, I don't know. I just always thought Robert Young had great success leaning on the mantel.
Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Munster Hunters, the only show that dares to stand up, lean against a mantle, and shun millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions, septillions of hours of new original programming on every streaming service available known to man, to simply sit down by a cozy fire and watch a 60-ish-year-old TV show about a Frankenstein's monster and his grotesque family. My name is Derek, and I'm a Munster Hunter. And joining me at the Frankenstein-headed table, as he does always, is Keith.
Damn, fire got on my leg again. Damn.
What?
I got too close to the fire.
I get what you do, because it happens every week. But
yeah, I know. Yeah. This is why I normally don't. This is the only time I wear long pants with you guys. And I got to stop because it's burning. It keeps getting burnt up. Anyway, I'm Keith, and I am a streaming shunner, Munster Hunter.
Oh, boy, you've been holding that for a week, haven't you?
Ever since the DVDs arrived.
Oh, my gosh.
So exciting.
The streaming shunner Munster-ish Munster Hunter.
Yeah, Derek, I think you need to get the DVDs, buddy.
Oh, I don't know if you could pay me to get DVDs because I have nothing to play them on. And then on the other side of that Frankenstein's monsters headed table is the Dr. Dre of Kansas, Terry.
Hello. Yep. I'm also wearing long pants. They did not catch on fire this time, luckily, but we'll wait for next week, I guess.
And I forgot to mention that I'm wearing no pants. So,
that's why he's always sitting. He never gets up when
I know. You don't want me to get up from this Frankenstein's headed table. How are you gents doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm just chilling, just living life, Munster hunting as can be.
I thought you were going to say, like, living life like Herman or something like that.
Yeah, living life more like Eddie in this episode, honestly.
Gosh, yeah. This is an Eddie episode. This is like Eddie, full tilt Eddie. Like, they must have been banking camera hours or work hours for him from the previous 18 episodes. So, like, okay, we do a full Eddie. Or maybe it's like summer for school or like Christmas break or something.
Oh, yeah, I think you're onto something. That must be it, yeah.
Yeah, they recorded in late December.
Yep, I'm happy. I'm glad he's finally getting his chance in the sun. Because he's been kind of a highlight for the series, I feel like.
Yeah, when he does get to show up, it's usually good quality stuff. So having something be a good focus for him that's pretty solid.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, this was an episode with Eddie in it. And but before we talk about this episode that had Eddie in it, along with other Munsters, we need to light a candle, walk down that brick hallway, watch out for cobwebs and rats and licorice or whatever else might be around. I don't know why there's licorice, but there is.
Why do you think we got the rats?
Yes.
People leave licorice back here.
I leave Twizzlers about. Open up that wrought iron gate, walk over to the bookshelf, discard Indiana Jones, several novelizations of movies, past and present.
And future.
And future. Well, I'm currently reading Mission Impossible. Is it 9, 8? Which Mission Impossible is coming out?
Oh boy,
next year?
7?
whatever.
Or no,
it
it's
is.
8. I think it might be 8.
I got the
don't know.
novelization of that, and I'm skimming through it. Did you know Ethan Hunt is his name, I believe? And he rips off a mask at one point in this movie.
Oh my god.
You'll be
Wait.
very surprised when it happens.
You're saying
Trust
Ethan Hunt's in disguise in this movie at some
Yes.
point, and we could never tell until he rips it off?
Yes.
That's number 3, I think.
Oh, is it? I
Philip
stopped
Seymour Hoffman. In it?
I stopped after 2. 2 was the one with the doves and the
John Woo.
motorcycles. The John Woo.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Boy, that movie
The best one.
No. Yeah, like Tokyo Drift.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now we're here. I find the tome. I pull it down. I blow the dust up. I open it up. I get down on one knee and present it to Keith, as an altar boy would present the book to the priest, the Munster priest, for this week's Munster Hunters Almanac Factoid Fact Tidbit Shit Shot Psalm of the Week.
All right, so we are looking at Wolfgang 777.
Wolfgang 777. The Book of Wolfgang.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Book of
7
Wolfgang.
Chapter
7th
77th
chapter,
verse,
77th.
77th chapter, 7th verse.
7th verse, 7th line, I guess.
7th chapter, 7th verse, 7th word.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's how I found it. I just picked a random number. And
Very
this is
random.
perfect.
777.
Yeah, this is perfect because we were talking about there's a lot of Eddie going on in this episode. And so the last couple of weeks I've talked about things that these folks have done outside of the Munsters, and this is kind of something that Butch Patrick did outside of the Munsters, but it's still connected back to the Munsters. And that was in 1983. He released a single on Rockshire Records, just a 7-inch vinyl, called "Whatever Happened to Eddie."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was distributed by MCA Records and the Duchess Music Corporation, I guess. And it's got Butch Patrick on bass and vocals.
Nice.
It was recorded at Lumel Whiteman Studio.
I think you say Lou Malnati's.
Yeah,
Pizza place in
well,
Chicago.
it kind of was, maybe, I don't know. Brent Black on guitar, Steve Patrick on keyboards, Wreak Havoc, REK on electric percussion,
Is
and produced
Steve?
by Phil Cohn.
Steve Patrick? Is that Butch Patrick's like relative or something?
Maybe didn't actually say.
Oh, okay.
So the thing here is that I found over on YouTube is from Phil Cohn, Kohn, who actually is the guy who produced it. He actually uploaded a video of the song "Whatever Happened to Eddie," and he provided. So they did it at Pinecone Productions at his studio. He met Butch in 1982. He obtained a license to use the Munsters theme from Universal Studios.
Nice.
Butch wrote the lyrics. They cut a 45 at his recording studio in Long Beach, California. And then he helped co-write, produce, and direct the video. And I guess it helped start MTV making basement tapes, giving exposure to unsigned bands. And they quickly got signed with Rockshire Records. I'll play this beginning part, and then you guys can also see the some of the visuals.
See in my eyes what will always
This is what I envision when we go up to the gospel.
Whatever happened to Eddie?
I'm the kid from Mockingbird Lane.
Whatever happened to Eddie?
Did I freak or go insane? You might wonder why I have a dragon for a pet. Well, he's just there to keep me company on the set.
Whatever happened to Eddie?
I'm the kid with the big stuff brain.
Wow.
There was there's also a B-side.
Oh.
I won't play this whole thing.
Jesus
This is
Christ.
Little Monsters.
Oh, God. What is this?
something growing. There's little monsters crawling on me. They're on the floor, they're in the air, on my clothes and in my hair. Little monsters.
All right, I'm gonna stop that one there.
Please.
But the bottom note on YouTube for that one, Phil's Cone says, "Crank the bass, it carries the song."
Okay.
Because obviously isn't Eddie, but that's Little Munsters, which was like a B-side to Whatever Happened to Eddie.
Yeah.
So we never figure out what happened to Eddie in this song, I feel like.
No, not well. He went off and split from school and kept his cool.
Yeah.
We do know that, but
That's
after
true.
that, other than that, I don't know. Who knows? But that video really kind of makes it for me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's perfect because we're doing this very Eddie-centric episode as well today. And also, I just really kind of thought that song, especially then the follow-up song, would kind of blow your guys' minds today. And I think that's where I'm going to end this one at. But let me... Here you go, Derek, if you want to put that away.
I don't know. I've
Thank you,
lost
sir.
all motor functions, failing ability to speak.
Well, it's a good thing you're not the captain
Oh.
for the next segment.
We still got to climb the 52 stone steps up to the back door.
All right, Terry, grab his legs. I'll grab
To
his
the
shoulders.
I will walk on my own. Thank you very much.
Oh, all right. Let him go.
Don't touch me. I'm not wearing pants.
Oh, yeah.
The 52.
Yeah, let's let him
Up the
go.
52 stone steps. I believe it was 52, 28, 30. I lost count.
It changes every time.
Yeah. Oh, it's Herman's reality warping powers. Today there's 114 steps up to
Oh, God.
up to the back door, out to the back patio, down the walk, through the gate, out to the dock right behind, because the Munster Hunters headquarters is a coastal property, very
Oh, yeah.
expensive. We
Of
could
course.
sell it and be millionaires, but instead we do
Nope.
this podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Much more profitable.
Oh, man. Yes. And then we hop in the boat where Captain Terry takes us out 3 miles out into international waters,
Yep.
pulls out a gun, forces us to put on our SCUMA gear so we can drop down to the depths of hell for SCUMA.
He just pointed at you because you're still not wearing pants.
I know.
Mhm. Pants are required to go scuba diving,
Yeah.
but yeah, the rules are there for a reason. So yeah, this episode was directed by Joseph Pevney. We've talked about this guy once before. He did Herman's Arrival. If you guys remember that one.
Yep. The Uncle Lester episode.
Exactly. Yep, that was a classic. He's got 9 episodes to go still of the Munsters, so we'll be talking about him later.
After this one or including this one?
After this.
Okay. Ooh.
So, is that good or bad? We'll find out. But
We'll find out, yeah.
he's directed a lot of movies in the 1950s before he kind of transitioned to TV. He directed a movie called Iron Man from 1951. No robots, no iron suits or anything. It's just about a coal miner turned boxer.
Oh.
He's convinced by his gambling brother to do so.
Lame.
I'm sure it all works out in the end. There's no trailers for it, but the full movie's on YouTube. If anybody's ever curious about this, the original Iron Man.
Yep. Everything else pales in comparison.
That's right.
Especially Iron Man 3. Or 2.
No.
Three.
Sure, that's a
Pick
classic.
your poison.
Yep. But this episode was written by Richard Bier. He has got writing credits from 1953 to 1995 on IMDb. He's a new face to the Munsters. We have not talked about him at all yet. This is the first episode that he wrote, but he's got a few more down the line. So let's get used to him hanging around for a bit. It looks like his longest credits, like his most longest running credits, I guess, were on Bewitched, where he wrote 23 episodes. He was a playwright before becoming a TV guy, and he wrote this play called Mixed Emotions that was apparently a pretty big hit. It was written in 1993, eventually made its way to Broadway, and it is particularly popular in Russia. The show has been running in St. Petersburg since 2009, apparently, so pretty big hit. Then we've got a couple guest stars. I think you'll recognize one of them. Paul Lynde is back as
Yes,
Dr.
he
Dudley.
is.
And we've got Alice Backus as Nurse Fairchild. So yeah, Paul Lynde, he's back.
Those are the only two other people other than the main family, isn't it?
Yeah. I was
Holy
kind of
cow,
surprised.
yeah.
There's like not even any like side small parts of like random people walking around.
Well, when you have Paul Lynde, I mean, what more do you need?
That's true.
Dr. Dudley is back. I need nobody else.
That's right. He's like the only guest star I think we've had that actually like has reprised his same role each time. Maybe except for like that the guy at the very like first 2 episodes. He's like the school like board director or something. Yeah. But I think Paul Lynde's gotten a beat about how many times he's come back. This is actually his last appearance on the Munsters, so it's kind of sad.
So he was a superintendent, but then he got a different position, right? So I mean, it's still the same.
Keith, what happened to you? You sound like you're inside of a box now.
Well, I'm on a rowboat, trying to catch up with.
Keith's on a rowboat. We left him on shore at SCUMA.
Actually, it's a rowboat, but it also has. I just climbed a diving bell and hoping to catch up with you guys.
You rode 3 miles out into international waters. That is a hell of a rope.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Very
you are
tired
now
arm.
officially part of the Munster Hunters.
Yeah.
That was the hazing.
Well, but like I mean, the crazy part was I was dragging a diving bell as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I jump inside, and I'm sure you guys will hear me hit the top of the SCUMA eventually.
It's like,
oh, hey Norm. Hey Norm. Hi.
Are you seeing Norm?
Oh yeah, the bloated corpse of Norman Abbott.
Wow. God damn. I just saw the tail of a Meg go by. All right, hurry up. Keep going. All
right. So, anyways, yeah. So this is Paul Lynde's final moment in the Munsters. So, well, we'll give him a solemn, salute of respect as we go past.
I gotta say, if this is Paul Lynde's final thing in the Munsters, I'm very upset. I mean, we're still in like a little more than halfway through season 1. He's gonna be done.
I know, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't come back more, like at least on season 2 or something. But
this is technically the halfway point of season 1. I thought season 1 was 32 episodes. No, it's 38.
Oh,
I think it was 32 till we started.
Like, they unearthed some lost episodes. And
the lost tapes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, just that weird Herman Munster thing where like suddenly it's 40.
Yeah.
How do we?
Life finds a way.
That's right. Well, I just want to,
it ends up being like Interstellar.
While we're hiding behind bookcases as Paul Lynde is like rehearsing his lines.
Murph!
It's love, Paul. It's always been love.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was behind the bookcase, I would say, "Thank you for your service."
Yeah, one creepy. We're spying on Paul Lynde in his bedroom through the bookcase. That's at the center of a black hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's very weird, and who knows what we're gonna see. So we better distract him before he starts doing something strange.
Well, what better way to distract him and our listeners by honoring him by talking about one of his last
with
credits.
a 21 gun salute.
Yes, as we fire it directly into his bedroom. So, I saw a movie. It's like the second to last credit that he did. It's called Rabbit Test. Have you guys ever heard of Rabbit Test?
That sounds familiar for some reason.
It's a Joan Rivers directed movie. Her only
does not sound familiar anymore.
He's got the whole Joan Rivers collection sitting there next to him.
Yeah, let me look through it. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. So, as usual, I watched the trailer for this thing, and it looks really weird. Of course, the trailer opens up with Joan Rivers herself twirling reels of film and talking about the movie. Like, all these weird... I don't know what the trailer does with these movies. Like, let's bring the director on to talk directly to the audience about it. I guess that was just a fun thing to do.
What year was this movie?
Oh, it was 78, I think.
Yeah, trailers back then were so strange. Like, modern trailers, they're like flashy, fast cuts. Tease the movie, blah, blah, blah. Back then, it was like, what do you know about Johnny Cool?
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Seems like they're just trying new things every time. Yeah, it's like, my name is Alfred Hitchcock, and I know this movie's going to scare you really bad.
Yeah.
So have fun. But so yeah, she's talking. She's twirling reels of film. She says she likes editing because she control her film and develop her bust at the same time. So I was like, okay. The trailer seems like it's kind of a rom-com. There's like a socially awkward guy. We see him talking to like a blow-up doll or something, trying to be all like intimate, but the blow-up doll pops and floats away. His friends are all weird. People are questioning his love life. So I'm like, oh yeah, this seems like, typical quirky 70s love rom-com thing, whatever. And then Joan Rivers' voice cuts through the trailer. She's like, oh, by the way, Rabbit Test is a movie about the world's first pregnant man. I was like, huh?
There you go.
I didn't see that coming. Okay. And then, yeah, just some weird images in the trailer. Does not look like it would really hold up today in terms of some of the, maybe some racist stuff. But, yeah, Joan Rivers cuts the trailer short. Let's move past that. She cuts the trailer short, and she's complaining that someone is sitting in the front row with a raincoat on his lap, which can only be implying one thing. She calls
that it's Paul Lynde. All right.
That Paul Lynde is there. She calls the usher, finds out that the raincoat guy is the usher, decides he's cute, and invites him backstage or something. So, yeah, it looked pretty bad. That movie looked really bad. But Paul Lynde is in the trailer, and he plays a doctor.
The role he was born to play.
Yes. I'd recognize that voice as soon as he popped up. I'll admit, I got a little excited. So then we've got Alice Backus. She has 101 acting credits on IMDb from 1948 to 1997. She went to the school of University of Utah, and she was apparently a very good violinist. She was actually the concert mistress, or I think it's supposed to be concert master now. I think that's like the proper term. They used to have like it's different for women and men, but they've now turned it into one thing. Concert mistress does sound very weird, I think. Concert master, much more cool. But yeah, that just means she was like the first chair violinist, and so she like worked with the director closely, and did like the whole tuning thing at the beginning before the concert would start. I was scrolling through her IMDb to look for anything that caught my eye, but didn't have to really look too far.
Is she is she a repeat as well? Is she the same nurse that he has working with her previously?
Nope, this is a whole new one and done Munsters appearance.
Good.
Yep.
That other nurse was smart. She got out of that.
Yep.
I told you, remember last time there was like a weird moment where it felt like something happened off camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they just burned through the nurse rules pretty quick.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, I was looking for something weird, and luckily it was right on like she is known for this. It was right at the top. In a movie called The Twonky.
The Twonky?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It came out in 1953. It's about a college professor who discovers his TV is possessed by something from the far future, and it starts to regulate his life, I guess. The trailer has to be one of the most boring things I've ever seen. It's on YouTube. I don't even know if it's an actual trailer, if it's like a few clips of like randomly put together by some fan or something. I don't know.
Some fan, like it exists.
Some fan of the Twonky. But most of the trailers, this like doofus TV delivery guy slowly complaining about how the old TV isn't even broken, and then he's slowly trying to move the TV into place. He's complaining the whole time. The twist comes when he tries to move the old TV away, and the antennas like wrap around his neck, very Munster style, and start like wiggling around his throat. Looks like it's like choking him out.
Nice,
but. Yeah, the trailer's really boring, but eventually, like, we see a cut of, like, a TV walking up to a phone and making a phone call, so that was kind of cool.
That's always awesome. I love inter-technology relationships.
It sounds like the new TV was going to have streaming, and they wanted to shun it, so...
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right.
The new TV was doing everything it could. It was to kill its master. I don't understand.
Also sounds like a great double feature with Killer Sofa.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Well-
those two go good together.
The phone was the TV was trying to call the entertainment bureau because his like client is lonely and he wants to hook him with some sort of woman. And I was like, okay, so like the TV's like his wingman. I don't really understand, but maybe it's some sort of statement about I don't know the 1950s. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I'll leave us all to ponder that message as we slowly rise from
What
the
does
depths.
the chwonky mean? I'm already on shore.
Wait, what?
I'm in the van. I've got the heater on, drying off. I just shook like a dog, and now I'm
I just got down here in the diving bell.
Keith's at the bottom of down near the depths of hell.
Yep.
Sorry, Keith.
How does this thing get back up?
I will leave a trail of Keithy snacks to get you back to the from the dock to the.
That's a good variety of things. So
Yeah, well, these are just dog snacks that I wrote screenshot dog and wrote Keithy on it.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
that works.
you don't have to eat them; just follow the trail. I didn't say you had to eat them at all.
Oh, that's true.
No. Mm.
You just assumed you wanted to eat them.
Maybe a taste.
It's a 3-mile swim back, Derek. I might need some substance.
You're swimming? I think you're in a rowboat.
It's sunk, okay?
You sunk the rowboat, Keith. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Well,
No.
while you slowly rise to the surface and let the current take you to shore, let's talk about season 1, episode 19, Eddie's nickname.
Excellent.
This bitch came out on January 27th, 1965.
Uh-huh.
IMDb gives it a 7.4 out of 10. I can't tell if that's lofty or not. It teeters on it. Eddie, this is what Amazon has to say, because it doesn't give too much away about this plot. Eddie refuses to return to school because the students call him Shorty.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Yes, that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
This bad boy opens up with Herman reading the paper. Lily comes in, talking. Where's Eddie? Is Eddie home yet? Have you seen Eddie? Herman does not move. He is looking at the paper, pays her no mind, does not care.
Yeah.
She's like, Herman. He's like, no, I haven't seen Eddie at all. Herman, I just doesn't care. Like, he's just like really into the paper.
He could not care less about this. Yeah.
No.
He's not interested at all in what Lily has to say or wants him to do.
And the reason Lily wants to talk to Eddie is to find out what he wants for dessert for dinner. What? So, Herman, just let me know when he gets it. Huh? What? Yes, dear. Whatever.
Yeah, they don't establish that it's not his birthday. It's not any
Nothing.
special holiday or anything. It's up to him. I guess it's his night to pick dessert.
Yeah. Where's Eddie? He needs to pick out dessert. And so, whatever. So then Eddie comes in, and he's feral. He has gone mad. And he's insane. He's screaming and throwing a fit. I'll never go back. Never, 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 never. Herman doesn't look up. Eddie's smashing stuff, throwing things, pounding on the couch, throws a log into the fireplace. He's just like, this sucks. Never, 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 never. And then he says, I won't go back even if I die. And then he's throwing stuff up and through with school, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes upstairs. And I would go back even if I died 100,000,000 times. And he runs upstairs. Then Herman looks down at the paper. Lily, oh Lily, I think Eddie's home from school. Then we get the banger. So Eddie, very upset. Herman, very disinterested.
Yep. He doesn't want to get into it. Yeah.
We're gonna find out. He's got good reason. We'll find out a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then we get the banger. And then we come back from the banger.
Man, every time I hear that banger, though, now I'm gonna think of
Whatever happened to Eddie? I'm trying to expunge it from my brain, so to speak. I'm probably going to drink myself into a stupor at night, and then hopefully forget it ever existed until I edit this episode, and then I'll
I'll
drink
come
myself
rushing
into a
back.
stupor again. Yeah. So we come back from the banger. Lily is yelling at Herman for not finding out what was wrong with Eddie. Like, Lily is very aggressive in this episode. I don't know if anybody noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
But she's very aggressive, very yelly, very condescending.
It's baby.
Yeah.
She's
Well, I mean, just in general. And the grandpa is like, probably got some for pranks. And then some bullshit about inkwells and ponytails and
then
putting the girls in the inkwells. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that implies. Did he have like a giant inkwell? Did he
I don't
shrink
know,
them?
but Herman gave him the same look that I gave him. He's like, Grandpa, shut the hell up, man.
You know what? That is something I really like about this episode is that they really do treat Grandpa like the way I kind of would react to him as well after a certain point.
Yeah. So then we get the part where we came in at, where Liz's like, she's angry and like, why didn't he find out? And it's like, well, little Orphan Annie. Father son talk. Keith, who's Robert Young?
He is the guy in Father Knows Best.
There you go. Robert Young from Father Knows Best. He leans on a mantle. Here's some talk. Then Herman, of course, leaning on the mantle and breaks. Billy keeps yelling at Herman. Like, just keeps going. So Herman's up at Eddie's door, knocking. No answer. Herman gets on the floor, looks through the little doggy door. I still don't know why he's got that doggy door.
I don't think he'd fit. Yeah.
He's like, it's your father, Herman Munster. Eddie finally opens the door, and then we see inside Eddie's room. I think this is the first time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is the first look we've ever had of his bedroom.
It is dilapidated.
Why does Herman have to explain who he is?
I don't know.
Eddie, the voice is very clear.
Yeah.
Like how many people have that, that big booming voice in that house that you would think it was anything else? And also, anything else Herman touches, like, just falls apart. So why not just knock on the door once or twice? It probably would have fell open.
He's respecting his son's privacy.
Yeah, I guess. But you are right. I found it very interesting to get a good look at Eddie's room.
It is filthy. It is so covered in dust and cobwebs.
It's like the worst room in the house.
Cage in it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Oh, it's like the worst room in the house, I think.
It is.
It looks like it doesn't have like any rhyme or reason. There's like things just laying around.
Yeah.
It's like a dungeon.
Part of me wondered if he went up and smashed stuff up when he was still like pissed when he got back.
Oh, that could be.
I get he respects his own stuff.
Yeah, but he's got the coffin and a cage.
He's got a cage. There's like some heads on sticks in the closet. I don't know what they were. It was an absolute disaster of a space. The plaster was crumbling off the walls. It looked terrible. It was the worst room in the entire house. And maybe, in that sense, the best room in the house.
Oh, that's true. In Munster's vision, that's maybe the best room.
Could be. Maybe it let in the most moonlight, blocked the most sunlight. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Eddie actually is rightfully kind of pissed that Herman didn't look up from the paper earlier.
Yes.
Herman's like, well, I got so much on my mind with work. I need to read read the stories from around the world to come up with solutions. And then Eddie says, boy, that little Orphan Annie must be in a real jam.
I love that line.
To which Herman goes, oh, she is. But I think that Daddy Warbucks, like, he's starting to go off. And he's like, wait a minute. Hold on. You're not going to get me in this trick.
He's obsessed.
I gotta say, I did love that, though, when, like, he starts running down, like, all the things he's dealing with. And then Eddie's like, oh, it's little Orphan Annie again.
Yep.
Perfect.
Eddie seems to know what's going on here. Yeah.
So anyway, Herman wants to know what's going on. What's wrong? And he's like, I don't want to say what's wrong. But Herman wants to know. And trust dear old dad. So then Eddie lets us know that he came up with the kids came up with a nickname for him. One that is so awful he can't repeat it, even to his father.
What could anyone think of to call Eddie? He's totally normal.
That's what Herman's like. He goes, what could they even come up with a name for you? It's got pointy ears and wolfish features.
All right, so before they actually reveal his nickname, because the episode's titled Eddie's Nickname, like, what did you guys think it was going to be?
I read the IMDb synopsis before, and it's like a paragraph, and it says what it is.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, like, I guess I would have thought Wolfie or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wolfie.
Like pointy or like hairball or something like that.
Hairball. Munster.
Yeah, let's come with all
Munster.
But then also, if you think about it, like, any of the kids on this show so far, like that, like either at the school or something like that, or was it Elmer who comes over and hangs out with them? Kids don't seem to be bothered by the Munsters themselves.
Nope.
No, they seem to like it.
So,
somewhat.
So like, I mean, they get annoyed with them for whatever, he thinks blowing stuff up with his grandpa's fun. But at school, I guess, Shorty seems like such a plain nickname.
We haven't gotten to it yet, Keith.
Oh, I'm sorry. So his nickname seems very plain to us once you reveal it here, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, kids so far really don't. They're not picking on him for anything that you would think may stick out other than that.
Like fancy pants, that might be something. He wears like a suit.
Yeah, that's true. But it is a time in American society where everyone kind of wore like fancy pants.
Fancy pants.
Yeah.
So Herman's like, you got to tell me I'm your dad. And Eddie finally tells him, they called me Shorty. It's because he's the shortest boy in his class.
It's like there's no good reason besides I'm the shortest in my class.
Yes.
I was like, yep, okay.
Then Herman tells him the tried and true advice. Well, sticks and stones may break your bones, blah, 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 blah. But names will never hurt me. And Eddie says he wishes he could be tall like his hero. Herman's like, well, Herman's are suck. Your hero is probably some asshole, not worth looking up to at all.
Basically.
Why would you?
They're very vain.
Yeah, they're just pieces of shit anyway.
Yes.
And then Eddie's like, well, I learned it by watching you. You were the hero, Dad, I'm talking about. It was you all along. And Herman's like, well, there are exceptions to every rule. And then he turns and he poses in the mirror, gives it like a very suave look. And then guess what? The mirror breaks.
He's very proud of himself.
Oh,
and then,
God, yeah.
Yep.
And then
the mirror, not so proud.
Herman laughs. Eddie laughs. They all just laugh.
I did like it. That was a nice little father-son
They laugh
bonding.
a lot for whatever just happened there.
Well, I'm going to guess that, judging by the rest of this episode, they probably had an extra 15 seconds they needed to fill for the network. So they're like, well, let's just laugh. Okay.
Yeah. Now, one other thing is, so I get Eddie's, I mean, he is very, very small in this. But, like, when he comes to answer the door, when Herman calls him out, and he's like, I'm your dad, come answer the door. Like, Herman's down on his knees, and Eddie is not even, like, Eddie's barely to his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it almost looked like not real a little bit, because I didn't think he was that small.
Maybe Herman's
like overall. Yeah, or they made it so Herman looked even extra big this time around than usual. But
there's some Hobbit technology,
the
forced perspective stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand he's the kid, so he's supposed to be small, but he just looked, especially when Herman was on his knees. Eddie looked incredibly small because he was still smaller than Herman was.
Yeah, he was.
So I mean, the nickname seems to be very fair, honestly.
Well, yeah, I don't. Fair is in the eye of the beholder, and Eddie doesn't think it's fair. So then we're at dinner. Eddie won't eat at all, and then Willie goes, "Please, darling, eat." And Grandpa's, "I'm eating." But then Will's like, "You stupid son of a bitch! I meant Eddie." Like he's like she's just mad at everybody. So Lily's like, "I know you had a talk, Herman, but fuck that shit. We need to go to the teacher, the principal, the school board, the principal, the school board. I already said those. The president, the king of the earth, whatever we have to do." Right? Grandpa wants to solve it with a plain old-fashioned spelling bee. I'm like, okay.
Oh, what? This confused me very much.
So Marilyn goes, "What's a plain old?" I know what a spelling bee is, but what's a plain old spelling bee? Grandpa says, "Well, we invite all the kids over that are calling Eddie Shorty to a free party. They have a free party, and when they're here, I cast a spell and turn them into kangaroos."
makes perfect sense, right? Yes. Old-fashioned spelling bee. No
Old
bee related. No spelling related. It's apparently kangaroo related.
Eddie on board with this. He's like, "That sounds good." Lily and Herman, not so cool with it. Herman says Eddie doesn't need Grandpa's old broken down magic.
That's a stinger.
Yeah. Then Herman says the problem is psychological and Eddie needs to go in and keep his chin up. Eddie says he'll try. And he does this like keeping his chin up. He like sits up in his chair and chin up in the air. And then we get like a cut to Eddie with his chin up, and Grandpa's teaching him how to box in the basement.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, all right. And then Grandpa's like, "Well, don't tell your dad. He's so opposed to violence that he'd killed me if he found out." So Grandpa's teaching Eddie how to sucker punch kids.
Yes.
Say, "Hey, look, is that a teacher?" And when they turn, just punch him. And then he's like, "Well, isn't that dirty? Only if you use it against girls."
Huh. All right.
they're like, let's try it out. And he's like, look, there's a teacher coming. And then Eddie clocks him right in the gut. And Grandpa, oof. And then they do it again. And he goes, look, my father's coming. Grandpa's like, that's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say teacher. But it was Herman. He's coming down the stairs. And he yells, he comes down and he tells him to take off the boxing gloves. And there's this weird, Grandpa's like, boxing gloves? Oh, are these boxing gloves? I didn't know these were boxing gloves. Eddie's like, yeah, I didn't realize there were boxing gloves either.
I gotta say, there's a great scene of them, doing the classic like boxing, hopping around in circles.
Mm-hmm.
They do that for a long time, and I gotta say, it was cracking me up. They just look so goofy. I've never seen a Count Dracula and a little wolf boy like sizing each other up before, but
I've never seen a giant penguin and a wolf boy.
Yeah.
Square off.
Wolf boy. So Herman yells at Grandpa about teaching his own grandson brutality. He goes, brutality? I haven't even gotten to the brutality yet. Herman's like, I said no means no when it comes to violence. And then he smashes a poorly assembled table full of beakers and shit. He's just like, no! And he smashes this thing that really looks like it was like just scrap wood, like with a nail keeping it together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did not have a place down here.
It's the person who lost that the contest for the best set piece. That was glad.
Herman gets to destroy it.
Yeah.
Prop department, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you won with the giant dog food can. Now you get to make something Herman destroys.
Or losers like, oh, I just built this table.
Perfect. So he smashes this crappy looking table with beakers on it, and then Herman goes upstairs. That's it. I'm out of here. Peace. Grandpa's like, you know what, Eddie? I love him, but sometimes I like to bite him right in the throat. Which is like, wow. So now Eddie has possibly the line of the episode right here. Eddie has the three best moments in this entire episode. Here's the line. I'm going to go to bed. And he's like, oh, you're tired? Yeah, I need to get rest so I can spend all day crying.
Yes.
I have the energy to cry all day when they call me Shorty. I'm like, holy shit, Eddie.
I was dying when I heard that line.
Like, got to get rested up so I can cry all day. It's exhausting. And then Grandpa's like, no. I got an idea. Hold on. Can't have that. I'm going to make a magic potion that will make you grow 6, maybe 7 inches overnight. And then he's like, will it work? I was like, I gave it to a pirate friend that was only 5 foot tall. And you ever heard of Long John Silver? So Grandpa, who previously all formulas had papers and in books, just starts grabbing shit and throws it in a blender, mixes it up, calls it a magic milkshake, gives it to Eddie, and he drinks it and goes upstairs to bed.
Yep, I would never drink Grandpa's magic milkshake. No. That's suspicious.
Now, the best
That
part,
doesn't sound good.
the best moment of the entire episode occurs now, because Eddie wakes up the next morning, very excited, back to the camera, races to the mirror, looks into the mirror, turns around, looks directly into the camera, and he has a full beard. It's a very luxurious beard.
Yes, the most epic beard I've ever seen.
And he stares right into the camera.
Yes.
And I genuinely laughed. I guffawed at this because it was so ridiculous.
It's almost a mane, almost. That's like how perfectly it goes around his face and everything.
It looked great, I thought. Yeah.
I loved it because it's like he needs to grow 6 inches. And he takes this potion, and the result is a beard. It's not even close.
Yes.
Well, it looks like maybe about 6 inches of growth on the beard.
Maybe 6 inches worth of beard.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Now, as a guy who, a couple years back, I let my beard grow out for 3 months, it never looked that nice.
No.
Eddie grows a very nice manicured beard.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. Nobody's gonna make fun of him at school now. I mean, he looks like just too badass.
He does, yeah. He's gonna be rolling up, on a hog motorcycle, big old, wearing leather jacket, big old beard. He looks epic.
Yeah, now the kids quit making fun because their moms hit on him because they think he's older now. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he's aged. Maybe he's aged 6. I don't know.
So Eddie's pulling MILFs. He's got a beard.
Well, he's DTF. We know that.
Well, yeah, but he's only 10, right? So he's shaking him off, beating him off with a stick. It's like, ladies, please. Still got hair on my face. Doesn't mean I have hair down there.
Oh,
I don't know why he would say that's disgusting. So we cut to Eddie on the couch looking very upset. He's just sitting there staring straight ahead. Today is a school day and the child belongs in school, says Herman. He says, with a beard. And then Marilyn's like, you can't expect him to go to school when he looks so differently from all the other kids, which got a laugh. Herman sits down to console Eddie. Come upstairs and I'll give you a quick shave. And Grandpa off camera goes, it won't help. And then Herman, what was that? I thought I heard a noise.
Yes. I gotta say,
go ahead.
That's a brilliant cut. Like, because we're like, oh, there's Lily, there's Herman, there's Eddie, and they're like, consoling him, and then we just hear Grandpa, and it cuts to like so far back in the corner.
Yep, he's sitting in his chair, his electric chair, reading the paper.
Yes.
Won't work.
Oh. Yeah, just chiming in. Nobody wants to hear his advice, but
Herman's not down with this fuck shit anymore. He's done. It's like, I heard a noise. I don't know what it was. So let's keep going. Grandpa's like, if it's me. I heard it again. Lily gets up, wondering why the shave won't help. It's like, why won't it work? Grandpa's like, it grows too fast. Help 5 o'clock shadow at 9 a.m. Herman blames Grandpa, and then Grandpa's just excited that Herman's talked to him. Oh, my daughter's husband spoke to me. Then Lily yells at them both. Get over it, you pieces of shit, and bury the shovel.
Yeah, I love that part. And bury the shovel.
Yeah. Grandpa's like, I said I'm sorry, didn't I? Grandpa comes off with a very, what was that guy's name on who did in The Big Lebowski?
John Goodman's guy.
John Goodman's character. What's his name? Damn it!
What was? I can't think of it either.
It's like calmer than you, aren't I? Calmer than you. It's like. So it's like that. Oh God.
Walter.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you're right, Walter, but you're just an asshole. That's kind of what it comes down to. Then Marilyn's like, well, sometimes saying you're sorry isn't enough. And they're like, yeah. Like, Grandpa blames the inferior ingredients. And then Herman is like, see, there he goes, blaming his ingredients, Like,
and then this weird he frog, she frog?
Yes. Yeah. He goes, It must have been the he frog. The recipe called for the powdered shin bone of a he frog. They just don't make them like they used to. I'm like, he frog? Yeah, there's she frogs and he frogs and we frogs and whatever.
I gotta say that his explanation going about the he frogs and she frogs seemed to go on way too long.
I think that's
like
the
everyone
intent.
everyone else was like it almost seemed like they were ready to like walk off and move to the next scene, and he's still talking.
They were annoyed, I think. Yeah,
I think that was the point, because he's like, this recipe's from the 15th century, those frogs from the century. And he's just like talking and talking. Yeah. And then Herman rolls his eyes, which is what I was doing.
That was hilarious. Yep.
And then Lily interrupts her by yelling at Eddie not to scratch his beard, like it's poison ivy or something. Don't scratch it; it'll spread.
But there's bacon in it.
It itches. I think there's a hunk of bacon in there for breakfast. And then, which made Herman interested. Like, oh, there's bacon in
there. I don't know. This may be too inside baseball, but if any of the listeners out there have heard the Pop-Up Filmcast episode, Keith might also relate to this with some chicken wings. He shared a very crazy story on that podcast. I can't even believe he shared it. But
yes, it was one of those that you're like, boy, you're better off not showing that story.
I forgot that episode already came out. Great, thanks.
And then Lily's like, well, Mommy will run the vacuum through it later, which doesn't make sense because their vacuum blows shit out instead of suck shit in. Yep. Mega Maid has gone from suck to blow. Lily wants Herman to take Eddie down to the family doctor. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, here we go.
He's back.
Go see Dr. Dudley, because this is a very serious problem. Herman wants Lily to take him because Herman would be embarrassed to walk down the street with a bearded boy.
I can't believe he said that.
I know. People will stare and laugh at me if they see me with a 10-year-old with a beard.
Right in front of Eddie.
Yes.
But people aren't going to notice Eddie at all.
Yeah.
Even with the beard, they will notice a giant green man with red eyes.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Hairy palms.
yeah,
Hairy palms. So Lily yells at Herman again. Just call the parlor, ask for the morning off, and take the boy to the doctor. Just screaming at him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Grandpa has a clever way to disguise Eddie so Herman won't be embarrassed. And I'm like, okay, this is weird.
so stupid.
And so Marilyn says, no magic. And Herman says, yeah, no magic. I don't want to hop across town with a bearded kangaroo, which made me chuckle.
That was good.
Grandpa's like, mellow out, dude. He's like, come on, Eddie, let's go to the basement. Grandpa tells Eddie, you look like Mitch Miller. And Eddie starts bawling. And Mitch Miller is an American conductor, producer, composer with, if you see a picture of him, he's got a big full beard and mustache.
Yep, just like Eddie.
So Grandpa's going to fix up Eddie. And now we cut to Dr. Dudley's office.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of dreading this, to be honest.
I was too.
I was not.
I'm
My
like,
favorite
oh,
character.
God. And I looked, and there's like only 10 minutes left in the episode. I'm like, 9 of it's going to be, I can't see anything.
The Dudley routine. He's
Yeah.
the last 2 times he's been on, he is really milking it. He's doing the whole routine,
Yeah.
falling off his bed, or he can't see without his glasses. Oh man.
So the doctor's sitting at his desk, and the nurse is in front of the desk, and Dr. Dudley takes off his glasses. Is like, I'm like, here we go. Glasses are going to break or something. It's like, I need the next patient. The nurse goes, are you emotionally prepared for Herman Munster? And Dudley remembers. Dudley recounts the last time. It's very accurate. Last time he double crossed me during an order for an autopsy. I was like, okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, so Dr. Dudley has psychically broken because of Herman Munster several times. The nurse says it's Herman Munster and son. And then Dudley says he had the guts to become a father, which is a weird statement. The guts. Not the audacity or something like that, but the guts to do it. And then he goes, do they look alike? Well, he's much shorter. I mean in the face. So Dr. Dudley gets up, and now the second funniest moment of this entire episode happens. He shifts his diploma to the side. There's a peephole in the wall.
Yes.
And
Creepy.
He looks out into the waiting room, and there's Herman sitting next to Eddie. And I'm like, here's the disguise. And it's just a paper bag over Eddie's head. This made me laugh almost as heartily as the beard.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was really good.
I was
But
like,
then on top of that, Herman also tries to hand him a magazine.
Yep. There were a few solid jokes in this episode.
Yes.
And that was one of them. I was like, boy, I'm laughing at this. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I also thought it was just very creepy that he has a peephole behind.
Yes,
the
that is
wall.
weird too. So Dudley says, oh, God, Mr. Munster's face is bad enough. Imagine how awful his son's face is to cover it with a bag.
Yeah.
So Dr. Dudley says to send them in, but have Nurse Ratchet or whatever be ready with an anesthetic. For the patient? No, for me. Then Dudley races around his desk, and eats a handful of tranquilizers.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm like, okay, here's where the chaos ensues, because he's going to die.
He's OD. In the
Yes.
office. He'd rather die than treat Herman Munster and his son again. Yeah.
Yep. So Herman and Eddie, they walk in, and then Dudley and Herman shake hands, and I'm like, here it is. There's the fuzzy hands. No.
Nope.
No fuzzy hands.
By the way, I would have liked him to be like, oh, I see. He doesn't have glasses on, but I would have liked him to comment that, thank you for not bringing your dog with, or something. Like some other little callback for that would have been nice, because that's been a big thing for him.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't happen.
Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was like it kind of feels like there's been like adventures between the two in between like episodes that we never got to see.
Yeah.
Like there's more history because now he's like, I don't think he's ever actually like accepted like Herman's face before. Like, and now it feels like he has, and he's like used to it, but he still has to take like 5 tranquilizers to get ready.
Yes.
It feels like there's a deeper history there than we ever got to glimpse in like the show.
He's got to eat.
He was really upset. He was really upset. He was duped by him with the autopsy.
Yeah. he probably gets paid per autopsy request. I mean, he was filling out the paperwork for an autopsy. He probably gets $50 for that. Anyway, Dr. Dudley's like, well, who have we here? What's your name? And then Herman goes, Edward Wolfgang Munster. And then for some damn reason, Dr. Dudley goes, what? I didn't hear you. Like, why would you even write in those 2 extra lines? Unless, of course, they had to fill in an extra 5 seconds. He goes, Edward Wolfgang Munster. Oh, okay. Well, please be seated. I even wrote here, wasting so much time. Why are they wasting so much time? So then it's like, oh, thank you, doctor. And they go and sit down. And Dr. Dudley puts on his glasses and starts to lift the bag, and he sees a little bit of beard, and he pulls the bag back down. How old is he? He's 10. So Dudley gets up and goes for more tranquilizers.
Yeah, they could have done that instead of asking the name again.
Yes. And then we have this clip.
Oh, my goodness. Has he had it since birth?
The head? Oh, yes, that's the original.
The beard?
Oh, only since this morning. His grandfather gave him a frog leg cocktail yesterday to make him grow. But it just grew a beard.
Excuse me, just a minute.
So then Dr. Dudley gets up to get a rubber glove. He returns. And I'm only keeping this playing because his explanation is remarkable. Puts his glasses on, touches the beard, examines the beard, takes the gloves off.
You want a snap diagnosis?
Will a snap cure go with it?
Yes. Edward Wolfgang's beard is the result of a certain metabolic imbalance induced by what appear to be metaphysical or esoteric stimuli unknown to present-day medicine.
I see. And the cure?
Lay in a big supply of paper bags.
Oh, my goodness.
He seems like mad about this.
I want to get to the diagnosis. So he pulls up that paper bag, examines the beard, and says, hell if I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I loved his explanation. That was perfect.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of words put together. Esoteric. Okay.
I will say when I saw that when I was watching this and that clip came up, I was like, oh, I hope this is Derek's audio clip in the episode somewhere.
There it is.
Yeah.
And the cure is a big supply of paper bags.
He
Can't
seems,
do nothing.
He seems fed up too. He's like, I've had enough of these weird things with these monsters constantly. He's like, this is the last straw for him.
Yeah, he's folded arms, bouncing his head around. The cure is paper bags. He's not having it. Cut back to Munsters at dinner, and Lily yelling at Eddie, "Don't get your beard in your soup." I'm like, oh, Jesus. And then we have to recount. There's so much recapping in these episodes. They talk about the stuff that we just fucking saw. Marilyn, didn't Dr. Dudley say anything constructive? No. And then he's like, get used to your new nickname, Fuzzy. And Eddie's like, that's worse than Shorty. And then there's
by the way, the getting the beard and getting yelled at so it doesn't get caught up in the soup. That actually reminded me of the pop-up filmcast episode, the issues I was having more than just the bacon caught in.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's got half of a rotisserie chicken in his beard at any given moment. So they're very passive aggressive, thank you very much, Grandpa sort of shit going on. I love it. Grandpa is like, what? I'm going to make Eddie my partner. We're going into business. We're going to mass produce this potion and sell it for $3 a bottle as a cure for baldness. Then Lily tells Eddie, sit up straight, yelling at Eddie again.
I'd buy that potion, by the way. That does. I could definitely use a nice beard grower.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
So Grandpa says he'll split it 60-40. And Herman's like, 60-40? It's like, and then Grandpa's incredulous. It's like, what, you want me to split 50-50 with a 10-year-old kid? Which was kind of funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Then Lily yells at Eddie again, be careful. And then Eddie's beard got in the soup, and it melted off in the soup.
Ooh.
Which is
that was
gross.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's like a perfect cut, like it got laser cut or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then Marilyn lets us all know what happened. The soup has disintegrated Eddie's beard. I'm like, thank you, Marilyn, for that. Wasn't sure what was going on. Then Lily comes over, throws her cloth napkin into the soup, and then wipes off Eddie's beard in full. And then Marilyn goes, it's gone. Like, thanks, Marilyn. And then Lily says, thank goodness, I wouldn't want to go through life with a son who looks like General Grant.
Yep, I guess not. Yeah, everybody's really digging into Eddie's beard.
Everyone is so fucking mean in this episode.
I mean, it's bad enough he's getting picked on by the kids at school. Now he's getting yelled at.
The family's just leading into him.
They want to call him Fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Grandpa, now he's pissed his Baldus cure's ruined because he's going to be rich, I tell you. Eddie asks if it's really gone, and then all he has to do is touch his face, but instead he gets up to look in the mirror. Now, I don't know what's going on with this mirror angle because you don't see Eddie in the mirror.
It looks pretty straight on, which was the thing that I thought was weird.
Yes, but you see Herman in the mirror, and Herman's sitting off this side.
And you see Lily. If Lily's actually a vampire, she probably shouldn't show up in the mirror.
But Eddie's not in the mirror. Lily wonders what this says about her cooking. It's just like, oh, yeah, what does this say about, how does this reflect upon my cooking? That it melts beards off, I guess. Herman wants to know if Eddie has learned a lesson. Eddie's like, I think so. I'll never tell Mom I don't like her homemade soup again.
Lily likes that. Yeah, Lily was smashing. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Herman's like, no, you dipshit. I wanted you to learn a lesson. It doesn't matter what you look like, tall, short, fat, thin, ugly, handsome, like your father, black, yellow, or white. It doesn't matter. What matters is your heart and the strength of character.
It's a nice message, but not sure that the episode really reflected this.
No, it does not.
No, because they put a paper bag over his head.
They put a paper bag over his head and mocked him the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lily is like, now that you solved one of life's problems of growing up, let's get on with our meal. And then for some reason, they all stand up, grab their bowls, and leave, except for Grandpa and Herman. So Eddie gets up, Marilyn gets up, Lily gets up. They grab their bowls and their silverware, and they grab Herman's and Grandpa's bowls, and they get out of the room. So I guess that's
really weird. Are they like getting the second course or something? Yeah, like I don't know.
Maybe they eat. That's where they eat like the soup, and then they eat the entree in another meal. Who knows? Or in another room. I do not know. So everyone but Grandpa and Herman get up and they leave, and then Grandpa tells Herman, "You're all right, not perfect, but all right." Very condescending from the man who is the source of all of this episode's problems.
Yep. But yeah, I liked it, but yeah, I thought that was funny. Yes. Like, oh, you're kind of. Then we let Grandpa. He's got some things to say. He's got some more stuff to talk about
for sure. So then we come back. Herman is coming home from work. Now this is last segment, so any moment we can cut the credits. Particularly there's an extra special funny joke.
Oh yes, I'm excited for this.
Lily and Grandpa are waiting for Herman when they come in. Eddie is up in his room crying. I'm like, Jesus Christ. He was playing baseball with the neighborhood kids, but struck out with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Herman says, "Let's go talk to him." And Grandpa says, "Well, I got a solution. If I get a baseball bat, once used by Stan the Man Mutual, I can take it to the lab." And Herman sings to Lily. They'll just start walking away. Grandpa's just talking. "Get the bat, take it to the lab. Wood and blah, blah." Herman walks by and acts as if he's going to hit Grandpa in the head with a briefcase. And he stops himself.
Yep.
And then he just walks off, and Grandpa's still talking. And then credits.
He's got so much to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand. Like, did they have to show? Okay, so did they just want to be able to explain that? Like, so even though they called him Shorty, I mean, and he's obviously still being involved with stuff at school, and then he struck out, and sing for the game, so that's why he's upset now. I don't understand why you, like, Grandpa finishes that little line of, "You're all right, you're not perfect, but you're all right," and they fade out, and then come back for this thing that means nothing.
Well,
yeah.
Like they cut to a commercial break, so they actually had a line that wasn't 100% horrible to end on. Took a commercial break and came back for something stupid.
I think the point of this episode really is to paint Grandpa as an old senile lunatic, which is what they did. Like, because they rail on him, talk about his shitty old magic and all this other stuff. It's a very bizarre episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already know
uneven.
he went senile when he turned into a wolf and couldn't remember things that happened. Obviously, he's got weird aging things that they keep leaning into.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I just find it weird that like you cut to a commercial break to come back for like that, not even a full minute, and something that doesn't really make any sense or is completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it's like a callback to the beginning, I guess. I thought it was funny, but I agree. Like the before the credits joke would have been a way better one to end on than this one, but I still kind of liked it. It was just fun. I mean, I just like how they treat Grandpa. Like, this is exactly how you should be treating him after, like, I don't know, 20 episodes, being like, all right, Grandpa, shut up. Like, nobody's listening to you.
Also, is there like a writer's room bet of who can, like, fuck up the end of the episode the best? Is that, like an ongoing thing here? Like, who can come up with a line that's lame? Because I was like, I guess Herman trying to hit him with faking like he was him with the briefcase kind of saved it a little bit, but it's still I'm like, when it faded to black, I'm like, oh, that was a nice ending, and then I'm like, wait a minute, they're not done yet.
Not done. Never done.
No,
that's right, just like us.
No sleep till
70 episodes.
Yep. All right. So we kind of got a glimpse into the thought process here, but what were your all's thoughts on season 1, episode 19, Eddie's nickname?
It's not horrible, but I mean, I think we've had a decent string of episodes recently that I think we really liked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of leaves this one sitting more in the mediocre status. I like we got Eddie-centric stuff. We get to see his room. We get that killer beard. But then it turns out this is just another Grandpa Invention Goes Bad episode overall. I mean,
yeah.
And and Derek, you're right. Everyone's really like pissy with each other.
Yeah, everyone's very aggressive. I mean,
yeah. I actually really like this one. I think this is one of my favorites. It's funny. I mean, I like seeing people like react to Grandpa how the audience should be reacting to Grandpa. I think that was really good. And I mean, Eddie, he always steals the show, and I think he does a good job holding his own in this episode. Like, he's a really good member of the family, and I wish we would get more of him, because every time we do, I feel like he does something hilarious.
Yes.
So I was glad to see that as well. And I don't know, I guess there's something about when the Munsters are just cranky at each other I really like. I kind of like it when they're always yelling at each other. Like when Herman's like, I was ignoring you because I'd rather read the paper. That kind of, I don't know. There's just something about that I kind of like it. It gives them a little more quirks, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, actually. That's one of my favorites. The run has still continued for me. I'm impressed.
And I know you've mentioned like that, this is how people should be treating Grandpa at this point. Like, I've always understood that Grandpa was like the most, I guess, kind of like beloved character of the Munsters. I guess it's what I guess I always thought.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Like every episode, by the time we're done, we're like, man, Grandpa's an ass.
Yes.
Like, why is anybody like this character at all? He's always not just causing the problems that make the show funny, but he's just a jerk overall a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of issues with the Grandpa character, just with the way he's written, because he's like it's like a Deus Ex Machina sort of thing, where he is the solution or the cause of all problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he's not just a vampire, he's also a mad scientist, and he also does magic, and he also he can transform into animals, and he can also do this. It's like there's just so many things that Grandpa does.
Yeah, it's his kryptonite, you know? Yeah, like, what's his weakness? He has none.
His weakness is he's old coot.
He doesn't have a family who appreciates him. That's his weakness.
I didn't like this episode, but I didn't hate it either. It has 3 really strong jokes in it. 3 really strong visual gag jokes, or 2 visual gags, and then I need to get some sleep so I can wake up and cry all day. I need the energy to cry all day, which was awesome. All right, the rest of it very uneven, very all over the place. Not a fan, but I don't hate it. I think we've seen worse. For sure.
I want to give props to Paul Lynde. Dr. Dudley's been kind of an annoying character to me, but I feel like this is his best outing. Like, he's not too over the top this time. He feels like he's, I don't know, he's not like doing the over ridiculous, I can't see, and he does like a whole comedy routine. It feels like he's like an actual character that fits in with the show rather than like some separate entity suddenly appearing and taking over.
Yeah. The problem before was he was always dumber than Herman, right? Which is like, well, Herman's got to be the dumbest one. And this one, Herman's not dumb. He's just mean, particularly to his son. So
I was expecting like in the scene when they're in his office, they like Herman and Eddie would like walk out, and as soon as the door closed, he'd pass out from the handfuls of tranquilizers he was taking.
No, sure.
Oh yeah.
I think this is just assumed.
Yeah, he's probably dead. That's why he never comes back.
Never another episode. Yep.
Yeah, he died.
That should have been the comeback where they're reading the newspaper. Oh, Dr. Dudley died from tranquilizer overdose.
That would be so good.
Oh,
that would be funny.
God, that would be perfect. Yeah, something like that would have been great.
A little dark, but we're elected. All right, so what would have broken the babysitter?
Oh, actually seeing the inside of Eddie's room.
Oh, that's true. She
never went inside. She just dropped some milk off or made sure he was okay, not taking a scalding bath.
Yeah.
But she'd get in there and be like, "You got a coffin? You got a cage? Like, this is a S&M dungeon? What's going on here?" Like
the S&M dungeon of the 10-year-old. Keith.
Well, I assume like they're multitasking. Like it's Eddie's room, but they use it for other stuff.
Oh, I see.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
They have a giant house to fucking make.
That might break me. Wow.
Yeah, I'm broken.
Marilyn uses it for other stuff.
Gross, Keith. It's a whole big house. You don't have to go in the 10-year-old's room.
Oh boy.
Oh, Keith. Last episode we talked about necrophilia. This episode,
no, I did not.
You did too. Wait till it comes out.
It's the Keith trademark, guys.
The Keith trademark.
Wait a minute, did I really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Man,
I don't remember
that. Well, that just broke Keith, I think. But
man, yeah, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I think what would break the babysitter is, Grant. When she has a realization when they're sitting down at breakfast. Grandpa's talking about this old-fashioned spelling bee. He talks about, I just sent an invitation for a free party to invite you all to, and she's like, wait a second. I got an invitation a couple weeks ago for a party from Grandpa. A spelling bee? And then he realizes he was going to turn her into a kangaroo. I think that was the breaker.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
Yeah, or dip her in inkwell. One of the two.
Oh, yeah, that could be too. Yeah,
that's true. Grandpa's real he stuck girls into inkwells, and when he was in school, don't sucker punch girls, but whatever. And now turn them into kangaroos.
Yeah, I think that's another thing is normally the stuff that he says about back in the old days, whatever, still kind of makes sense from a vampire type esque thing. But turning people into kangaroos and also dipping girls in inkwells, this seems so off the mark even for him.
Doesn't feel like they even tried with that kangaroo thing. They're just like, what did they turn them into? They turn them into bees?
Why did they turn them into bees? Yes, bees. Exactly.
That's right there. That makes perfect sense.
Or they're on a tight budget and Al Lewis fucked up the line.
Oh, you think it might have been like an improv line? He just made it up on the spot. Yeah, he was improvising.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to think of all the different things you could put a spell on bees and have them go sting crazy. You can do all sorts of stuff. He calls
Turn
them
them
an
into the letter
old-fashioned
B.
spelling bee, and the result is a kangaroo. I don't get it. For me, I think what breaks the babysitter is when she realizes Eddie's that's hoarding bacon in his beard. Like, I only got 2 slices at breakfast. You got bacon in your beard? Jesus, I'm starving, Eddie. Come on.
Oh, so it's not a piece left over. He actually just shoves some up in there for later?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll keep this for when I'm hungry later on. Plus, it smells good.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Walk around with that
In
bacon
case they
smell.
stick me in this cage up here, I got something to eat later.
Yeah. Yeah, get the bearded boy in his cage with bacon.
Take that on the road, yeah.
Well, there it was, gentlemen. Another successful run through season 1, episode 19. Eddie's nickname, Keith. I could see you on the horizon. You've got a gas lantern. It's bobbing. You're almost making it here. What do you got to tell the people to look for until next time?
Wow, boy! Until next time. I think we're just about ending the summer run of That Was Great, Wasn't It? We've been, myself and also Chris Green, we've been watching Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. I am finding it to be absolutely fantastically over-the-top cartoon, enjoying every minute of it. And also the pop-up film cast summer tour is, we ran out of gas at some point, I think, or at least money for more gas. So it's probably coming close to an end as well.
As cash or grass.
Nobody rides for free, and we don't have any of those 3. So
nope.
Unfortunately. Yeah, and so go check those 2 things out. Pop-up Filmcast, and That Was Great, Wasn't It?
Oh my goodness! All right, what about you, Terry?
Oh, I've got another show that I do called Run the Reel. We talk about movies within like specific, categories. So we're maybe just finishing up the Kurosawa run that we were starting, but if not, we may have moved into a new category: summer blockbuster movies, just in time for summer. So
nice.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. I think we start out with Speed. So.
Oh, that is a summer blockbuster. Speaking of summer blockbusters, Independence Day has just passed, and Independence Day was on TNT the other day.
Oh,
and
did you watch it?
A little bit. The kid was like, "What's this?" Because it came on after Star Wars, I think. I'm like, "Oh, it's Independence Day," so we started watching it, and she didn't get it. It's full of 90s technology, like shit that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
She's like, why didn't they just call it? Like there's all sorts of stuff that doesn't make any sense to him. A kid that's grown up with iPads and Wi-Fi.
I just like the idea that much like they play the Christmas Story 24 hours with TBS or whatever, I kind of wish they would just play Independence Day for 24 hours every July 4th.
I don't know, man. It's kind of a tough watch. It really is.
It wasn't as good as I was expecting when I watched it. Yeah, I was like, it's
kind of a tough watch. Anyway, as for me, I've got nothing.
Oh.
Now, as we do with every episode, we have to end with our trademark.
Carlos Spinoza. The doctor will see you now. Oh, Levine. Helen Levine.
No. Minosa.
Oh, have your wife fill this out and fill this up.
So hard to get the paper.
Oh
Mrs. Stocker, you are a fool. And you're leaking all over my desk. And you've been eating asparagus again.
You noticed?
Joan Rivers.
I said the doctor will see you now.
Gracias.
You can't even speak English. Wonder their own welfare. Why don't they stay out
What
of bed?
the fuck?
Oh my god. I told you there's some weird stuff in this movie.
Dr. Vidal, I'm Carlos Minosa.
Won't you have a seat? Oh, shit. Nurse Ton, call maintenance. I have sperm all over my desk again.
What?
What?
Now, what was that problem?
Dear God.
I have no reason why the baby stood broke.
This is going to sound really crazy. It's going to sound so... But about 6 weeks ago.
Hold it, cowgirls. Sick babies have ears, too.
What?
Okay.
Run the regular tests on this. Minoz will be back for the results tomorrow at 11. Oh, and charge the triple.
Charge the triple.
Whoa, man, I can't play this. God damn you, Joan Rivers. The Munster Hunters are Derek Glascock, Keith Gawla, and Terry Vickroy. Keith is the host of the Pop-Up Filmcast, and that was great, wasn't it? Both shows can be found wherever you subscribe to podcasts. For more about Keith's shows, you can follow Pop-Up Filmcast on Twitter at Pop-Up Filmcast. And that was great, wasn't it? At How Great Was That? You can also follow Keith on Twitter at KG3030. Terry is one of the hosts of Run the Reel. It's a movie podcast that does deep dives on films with a theme. You can follow Run the Reel on Twitter at Run the Reel. You can also follow Terry on Twitter at Terry_Vickroy. If you would like more musings from me, you can follow on Twitter at Derek the number 9 and the word 9. Follow Munster Hunters on Twitter at Munster Hunters and subscribe on your podcatcher of choice for more Munster Hunter fun. Munster Hunters is mixed and edited by me, Derek. All original music is composed and mixed by Terry Vickroy, and executive producers are me and Keith Gawla. The Munster Hunters is a Krispy Dodo production.